I want to talk today, and I know a whole bunch of y'all didn't get a chance to see the video I just put up a few minutes ago, and I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. I did it so quickly, trying to get something out of my pocket, so I'm not sitting on this like that. So I want to talk to y'all not only about this sister named Melanie MADDOX, which you guys can go check out the story for yourself, but she lived in Atlanta, Georgia. I think she either lived in the Dunwoody section or one of those two sections out there. I know Atlanta, but I don't know Atlanta like that, you know. And you guys let me know if you can hear me clearly and everything like that, or I'll make some adjustments if you can. And make sure you hit those like buttons. This lady, particularly Melanie MADDOX, she worked at a grocery store for a substantial amount of time. I think the grocery store is called Big Bear or something like that down in Atlanta. It's one of the local grocery stores down there. And everybody loved the lady, beautiful black woman. I will say that she was a pretty woman. She looked like Jovel. Um, Somewhere in between this particular day, which was 2 days ago, she was in her store. She was working, and a man came in. Now, to this point right now that I'm making this broadcast, we don't know whether or not the man is white or black. His name is Victor, which would allude that he could be either. You know what I mean? He could be white or black. So I don't want to jump the gun on that. But the fact remains, this is still a man. Okay? It's a grown man that decided after Melody had asked her to wear his mask because of a state mandate, that he wear his mask at the grocery store, some type of argument ensued. And within this argument, things must have got so out of hand that this man decided his best choice of action now was to come back with a gun and shoot Melody and shoot an off-duty police officer, and probably potentially more. Now, ladies, I know you're asking yourself right now, well, what the hell does that have to do with us and RP to Melody, right? Well, it's something I told you before, and I'm going to tell you again. All right, now I'm going to make this one not too long, but I'm going to make it long enough because there's a couple other things in between it that I want to talk to you guys about. One of the things is, I've been telling you guys that there's a lot of men coming out of the pandemic. They have been sexless. They have been no emotion whatsoever given to them. And based on, and I'm talking about men of all different backgrounds. Hey, what's going on? I'm talking about men of all different backgrounds. A lot of them, this has been a reality for them, where no one has been around them, including family or anything else to comfort them or likewise. And as a result, what has happened is that a lot of these men now, are frustrated, whether it be sexually, emotionally, whatever it may be. And there's some women walking around like that too. But the thing is, most of the time, most of the women, from what I've seen, have not been as violent, okay? This is not the first instance of a man attacking a woman after this pandemic and quarantine. It's not the first time. In fact, I would go as far as to say, and I think many will agree, those attacks that have been on Asian Americans lately have also been a result of, and if you could particularly see, it's always someone that's elderly, or it's always someone that is you know, frail to the point. They're not trying nobody real. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they ain't trying nobody real. They're not gonna try me. They're not gonna try a couple other people. Not to say it can't happen, but they're not. You know what I mean? That's just the real reality of it. So these guys, they kind of pick and choose weak victims. That's usually how criminals do like that. And they choose these weak victims, all right? They choose these weak victims, and what they do is they pounce upon them like rabid dogs, you know what I mean? And the sad thing about it is they're now starting to pounce on our women. And I can't have that. I've seen shit by firsthand myself where maybe not even 5 days ago, I saw this dude. There was this group of young black girls that were sitting over there. They were talking. It was right about after high school time, so they had to be from there. It wasn't up at like 5-something in the evening. So it was clear that these young girls, were young girls. You know what I'm saying? And I looked to the side, and I seen this Mexican gentleman that looked. He was either Mexican, Ecuadorian, or something. Boy, he was just staring. ever. Like, and it was a prowler type of stare. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm sitting there, just like I am right now, smoking a cigarette, because I'm waiting for the train. And I kept peeping him. So finally, I like, as I saw him start to move, I said, let me move over here real quick, see what's going on real quick. You know what I'm saying? So I moved over a little bit, and he didn't notice that I was behind him. So when I moved over and I looked at him or whatever, he looked like he was about to say some shit, and then he saw me at that very moment, because one of the girls looked at me, and then he just kept it moving. So the question was, what if I had not have been there? What would he have said to them girls? What would he have said to them girls? And that's not the only time it's happened. There have been many times where the girls are in desperate need and nobody's coming to their rescue. You understand what I'm saying? In fact, I've seen situations where girls have been attacked and shit, and the funny thing is, the guys will sit there and film it. They won't help, they'll film it. Why didn't nobody check this motherfucker when Melody was right there in line? Why nobody check him then and be like, I know he had to say something about it. And maybe if one of these guys would have intervened, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Maybe it wouldn't have had a chance to happen. Maybe he would have made it back home. He left, came back from home with a gun and shot her. You understand what I'm saying? He left from the store, came back to the store, and shot her. I want y'all to leave that in your mind over her asking him to wear a mask. That's how much motherfucking respect he didn't have for her. You understand what I'm saying? That's how much motherfucking respect he didn't have for her. And I don't know why people don't see it. I saw this picture today. Somebody put up. They put it up to be funny, but I saw it and I saw what the message what they were trying to say. And in the picture they put up a picture of Serena Williams and her husband. And he's now overweight. As white friends I have say, pasty pale, or whatever. Now, many people know Serena Williams' story, and they followed it through her journey with her and Venus. You know that Drake once dated her, Common, they thought was going to get married with her, and a litany of other black suitors that wanted to marry this woman. And I'm not saying that she choose who she wants to or whatever, but what I'm saying is, see, many of y'all may not know this, but a lot of men get, and I've heard it joked about, and I've heard it talked about, and I'm like, God. So I want y'all ladies to listen. I'm giving y'all some shit y'all need to spread to the young girls, and even if it's too late for you to take it for yourself. A lot of times I have seen personally myself, and heard personally myself, where I've had white friends, and they feel comfortable enough to say around me, oh, yo, she's a whore, or she's this, or whatever, it's all about a black chick. But when they talking about the new white chick that they date, they will never, ever address her as that. And I've seen it vice versa too. Black dude dating a white guy, a girl, or whatever. So I've seen it both ways. But what scares me about that is right now in population, the populations for African Americans is dwindling. And the reason it's dwindling because no one is actually coming to terms with pregnancies. The same thing is happening in the white population. And I tell you guys this over and over and over and over and over again. And sometimes it feels like the women that we do have in the culture don't like us. You know, I was just on yesterday talking about two women that are a segment of the black female gender. And I do mean a segment, because they are a segment. I think they fit in somewhere around about 30 or 40%, but they're there. They're there. They're there. And ladies, I'm telling y'all better start checking these bitches. And this is what I'm gonna tell you that. And I call them bitches because I have no respect for them. I have no respect for a woman that if I respect you, you feel that you can't respect me back. I had that happen to me when I was walking to get a drink today. This sister was walking past me. I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. This sister walked past me, and it stuck out so much, so I didn't forget it. This sister walked past me, and I literally moved out the way of her because it's a curve on the sidewalk, and then there's like a plant thing right there. So it's not enough room really for two people to move by. So I said, you know what, just to save face, I'm gonna let this sister walk by. I wasn't rude, I wasn't nasty. I even smiled at her. Like, I went just like that. She walked past me, did this weird ass shit, looked at her arm like she was looking at a watch, made this stank face to me or whatever, whatever. And then she looked at me like as to say, you ain't have to do that. Why don't you just do what you regularly do and just run me over? I'm like, baby girl, where the fuck you grew up at? Where you grew up at? What kind of people you be around? And when I delve deeper into it, I have to realize some of these girls come from the worst neighborhoods in the world. Some of these girls have been taught and implanted in their head, your daddy ain't shit, he ain't never coming through here, blah, 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 blah. Year after year after year after year after year. And as they've gotten older, the boys with the compliments of YouTube and the MGTOW movement and every last thing else that's out there, a lot of the guys are starting to get the same rest in their mind, like, you know what the fuck am I messing with black girls when they only give me attitudes? I'm telling you what's out there. It's not my words. Why am I messing with black girls when black girls don't do nothing but give me attitude right up the jump when they meet me? They don't do the same thing to white men. I've seen black chicks literally change their facial structure as they're approaching when they're with their white boyfriend or whatever other race of boyfriend. And I find it looped in, and I said the same thing when I found a lot of guys that just had a preference to date white women. If any of y'all know, I've had girlfriends from Germany, Turkey, Israel, Afula, Israel to be exact, Ethiopia, and a couple other places. So 2 Brazilians. So I've dated women from like everywhere, literally. I have. And never did I look at any of those women and be like, oh, your skin color is the reason I'm with you. But what you got to realize is there's a lot of these girls out here, and it goes back to the slave days, in my opinion, where you had Mammy, or the slave that was raped and never got to see her daughter or whoever anymore, and eventually they became house Negroes because they was master's offspring. You get a lot of girls on the other side, I can tell you that were the mammies on the plantation, were, through many people's opinion, were the facilitators on the plantation as most of the slaves. And a lot of these mammies, they would voluntarily go and have sex with master for privileges. There's a show that came on Fox very shortly. It only ran for 2 seasons, but you can find it here on YouTube. They have the episodes up. And if you've never seen it, I want you guys to go see it. It's called Underground. And in the show Underground, if any of y'all have ever seen it, they took it off. I don't know why they took it off. This was a wonderful show. Out of all those slave movies, the ones that stick out for me is 12 Years as a Slave, Django Unchained, and this show. I don't like any of the rest of them. All the rest of them were drab and boring to me and just a regurgitation of what had already been out there. I think that, what's the name, explored a little bit more in depth what it was like to actually be one of those slaves on those plantations. So I would advise you to go check this show out. It's here on YouTube and it's up, and it's called Underground. And in the show Underground, Journey Smollett, who is, Jesse Smollett's sister, but she ain't nothing like him. She's beautiful too. They've been acting since they were kids. Journey Smollett plays the daughter of, I forgot exactly what her name is, but she's a real well-known artist, well-known actress, black actress, Lynn Whitfield. I believe it might be, or it's a woman that looks like Lynn Whitfield, because it's a woman that looks exactly like Lynn Whitfield that is an actress too. But she sleeps with the master, and she uses that as a pawn to later escape. You guys should really check out the show. It's called Underground. And it's right here on YouTube. That's entering Underground, and it'll come right up. Underground, or put in Underground TV series, and you get more specific. It's not a waste of time. It's actually a good show to watch. Let me see what you guys are talking about. I saw that movie. It was good. All right. Oh my God, this has to stop. We need more protection. Well, I'm trying to segue y'all into why y'all having protection right now. Based off a lot of these different movements that have been going on, the feminist movement, LBGT movement, and I'm going to say specifically the feminist movement. What has happened is that there's been a disdain for your own men, and it's going on social. You know, I just called somebody out the other night because that was just online. I called somebody out because they said something, they wrote something. I thought it was real fucked up, and they put a meme behind it. This wasn't on YouTube. This was on social media, well, just the social media too. But y'all get what I'm saying. And so I looked at it, and it said, why settle for a Daquan or something like? I'm exaggerating the name. I forgot exactly what the name was. Where you could get a Chad or some shit like that. And I was looking at it, I was like, wow. So tell Chad to protect you. Tell Chad to protect you from Chad. Tell Chad to protect you from Brad. Because that's what I'm seeing that's going on. And that, don't get me confused. There's a lot of black men out here also, and Latin men killing women too. I experienced two of them that happened in real close vicinity of me in the Bronx. One included a girl who was a beautiful girl. She was 17 going on 18. She was still in high school. The boyfriend was like 20, but he was in high school with her at one time. And they both Dominican, from the Bronx. And she was posting up pictures on social media. When somebody later on did a video, and I could kind of understand, but you ain't have to kill the girl. And what happened was she had some scantily clad pictures up on Instagram. Like, really, if you are, how can I say it? If you're immature, you don't know how to handle that, it wouldn't be the best scenario for you. We put it that way. Not for a 20-year-old guy. You know what I'm saying? They can't take that. And subsequently, he killed her. He ran into our house, knew no one was there, and he killed her. There are a lot of men doing this shit. But what I talk about is, and I get specific when I'm talking about it, is particularly how black women have this profession of they want to be protected by us, but you're not doing the things that warrant protection. You're doing things that are insulting 30 to 40% of you, and it's now being called out even by white media and white gentlemen. And they're putting it in their marketing too. I know how to peep shit in marketing. I went to marketing for 17 years. And the shit that I saw this one commercial just recently. And there was this white guy, he was there, and he said, oh, this is so-and-so. And they were pretending like they were in space. Sometimes it rolls here on YouTube too. I don't know if y'all seen that commercial or not. And he says in a dialogue, oh, here comes so-and-so. She's always trying to one me up. And see, that could be interpreted in so many different ways. That could be interpreted as, you know, he's saying that from a sexist standpoint. You could say he's saying it from a sexist standpoint, a gender standpoint. You can say it from a lot of different angles. But don't you miss the fact that it was a message within him saying that. I've seen other commercials that take direct jabs at black, Latin, and white women. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes divided up within the commercial so they can address each specific demographic. So it's not a joke, it's not made up or whatever. You've been under attack. You've been under attack. You know, you've been under attack. And the way y'all messed it up was when y'all started comparing yourself, in my opinion, to white women. Oh, they want this like us. They want that like us. They want this like us. See, that brewed the conversation and started the competition. And one thing these girls know better than you do is that even if you marry one of them men, I'm not saying everybody grow up like me or friends that I have or whatever. There's many affluent blacks all across this country. We all know that grew up affluent 2, 3, 4 generations back, have college graduates 2, 4, 3 generations back, you know. We all know this. But, you know, sometimes it's hard to convey that to other people because of their preconceptions and presumptuousness. So that becomes a problem. I get that. And it becomes a problem for women because even though you are looked at as being, and particularly our women, you're looked at as being so strong and everything like that. But at the same time, you're weak as far as it comes to other things. See, if a 300-pound man is 6'4", I'm 6'3" myself. A 300-pound man that's 6'4" came up to me right now, I can handle myself, but I'm trying to tell you, my first option is going to be, you know, if it's in a dangerous situation, to shoot first. You know what I'm saying? The probability of me being the guy that's 6'4", 300 pounds is very small, hands-wise, but it could happen. And not to say that I doubt myself, because everybody know me, I don't doubt myself. But I'm just saying, probability. The probability in you being 5'2", maybe weighing 160 between a 220, because I see that a lot. Chicks calling themselves BBWs, know you're a beast. Sorry. And I'm sorry that these motherfuckers keep promoting to you that it's body shaming. It's not body shaming. We care about you. We don't want you to die. A lot of these different things come into play. The nasty talking, the berating of men. There was a woman named Karen something that wrote a book on how to get you a white man. And all of it's bathed in one thing. And I hate to say it, but I call it, when I see a lot of interracial dating on either gender, a lot of times I have to call it for what it is. If I see one or the other with obviously more. And I do mean it in case of even Serena Williams too. Either gender. One thing I see is, I call it poverty dating. I gave it a term, poverty dating. And this is dating out of poverty, or the fear of going back to poverty for many. And that's why I said distinct difference comes in. This young woman that was beefing with me, and I put it up, called herself the educated queen, the educated queen. Nothing she said, besides the insults that she threw, were educated, but she was not provoked. I said something that she didn't like, and she responded with the most offensive, obnoxious shit she could. Why was that? Because she had men, obviously, in her family she wasn't thinking of. She didn't think of the repercussions of that. This shit was going to be online and everybody's going to be able to see it. She didn't think of the repercussions of the setback for the culture, as far as us looking like online, bickering with each other, between genders specifically. I see black men and black women, there's channels dedicated to it. One of the channels I share a lot of times is Mediocre Tutorials. All right? And Mediocre Tutorials has his points that he points out. I'm glad that he points those points out about all women and some of their bad behavior. He says Shahrazad Ali on there. See, protection comes with like a partnership. You see? It comes with like a partnership. You can't sit around and berate me online, talk about me all the time or whatever, and then think, if you're the worst of the worst in our culture, I'm going to offer you some support if you're getting attacked. We saw this when it happened down in Texas, and some boys had filmed that girl getting attacked in the parking lot by that dude over a parking spot. Y'all remember that? And I looked at it then and I said to myself, I said, yo, those boys sat there and filmed instead of helping her. And I said, yeah, that's some punk ass shit to do. You know what I'm saying? Because to be quite honest with you, most men of color, they saw a sister, I would think. Most of them, the ones that, I say 25, 30 and over, their first reaction is to be, yo, help that chick. But I've been in situations, I can tell you other men have been in situations of color, whether it be with the police, whether it be with motherfucking arguing or whatever. I remember one time my friend had gotten into an argument with this sister in the store because she was just being obnoxiously, on purpose, nasty. Like, it was no hiding anything. Y'all please hit those like buttons as y'all come in. It wasn't no hiding anything. She was just like nasty. So my man, he's not that type like me, and he started arguing with her. Well, she tried to twist the story and make it look like it was his fault. And she didn't know we were together. She thought I was just another customer in the store and I was just taking sides with him. No, bitch, I came here with him. And I saw what you did. And it's very, see, it's hard to convey this to someone that's a store manager or whatever, because 9 times out of 10, they're not even used to this type of nigga-ass behavior. And that's the truth. That's what it is. It's nigga behavior, whether it's from Latinos, blacks, whites, whatever. So they're not used to that. And they're not used to the possibility that, yeah, somebody can set you up, someone can intentionally have trouble with you to get an in-game result, you know? And I don't know why people don't see this and why people don't understand this. I'm going to have to switch these headphones. Y'all give me 1 second. I heard them cut off. I don't know why people don't understand this or don't get this, but it happens. It happens. A lot of times when you get these Karens that we talk about so much, these Karens, give me 1 second, y'all. Can y'all hear me better now? Can y'all hear me, or y'all rather me use the mic? Y'all type in the thing and let me know. All right? If y'all rather hear me like this or hear me with the mic. I'm hooking up the earphones right now. And so if y'all rather hear me like this or with the headphones, y'all let me know, all right? A lot of times you get these Karens lost his life in Mississippi trying to protect a black woman from another black man. The man was so-called a preacher. They used to run a commercial ads with black single mothers with a baby and huggies. When you would see a white mother, it was her husband. Exactly. I saw that movie. It was good. Exactly. You had a lot of commercials out there nowadays, and I think some black women don't even realize what they're seeing. You know, especially the young girls. I especially don't think they know what they're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Because the shit is wicked what they do in advertising. Now, give me 1 second. I'll just make sure these are connected. Okay, we're all good. I just want to make sure those headphones were connected. There's a litany of different commercials out there that I've seen, especially in the past 5 years, that outright, in my opinion, promote interracial dating, specifically of black women and white men, or black women and any other men. In a strategic way, it's the best way to get rid of a natural born black kid. Just shove the DNA out of the males. You know, we have always, in the males of many different cultures, I mean, if you really go back to the medieval periods, they would always say the same thing: kill the men, leave the women and children. And those are for rape, birthing, etc., etc., etc. It's a modern day version of it. And sad enough, there's a lot of black men and a lot of black women both participating. And they're both participating off the fact that they want to be inclusive. You see what I'm saying? They want to be inclusive to something that they're foreign to. And just like that woman that insulted me, you always talk about your mama and how you grew up. She would have never took that tone with a white man. She wouldn't have told a white man, hey, you always talking about your father. Go tell that to Donald Trump. I went up in front of that 38 times and motherfucking did lives. Go tell that to Joe Biden. Go tell that to any other motherfucker that you really want to tell that to. And instead of telling it to me because you think there won't be no repercussions. Well, I'll tell you one of the repercussions right now, sweetheart. I'm not your protection. See, when you unilaterally start sharing these ideas and you start sharing these type of ideologies amongst other women and they start practicing these ideologies, well, I don't know why so many women of color or women in general think men are dumb. But the first natural thing that most of these men do is they start saying to themselves automatically, I'm not fucking with you. And then that aggression grows more and more and more. This is based off of 30 or 40% of women in the population that fell along with this whole assimilation shit. You see what I'm saying? These are 30 to 40% of the women in that culture. All our women are not going and listening to Cardi B or riding through the streets listening to City Girls or whatever. I know that might be where some of y'all see, in which y'all see where y'all live at, but it's not what everybody else sees. You understand what I'm saying? And the direction that the music industry, and I say this all the time for being part of it, the direction that not the music majors or the guys that are selling not the guys that are signing the checks or giving the budgets, no, the guys that are bringing these women as well to the record labels know what their message is. They're going to find the most wayward, nasty, speaking, whatever. I put up a clip of Megan Thee Stallion. Her new song is called Thot Shit. All right? She was attacked, apparently, reportedly, by Tory. All right? We all know the story. We ain't got to go into it. Everybody was like, oh, yo, I feel so sorry for Megan. Then later on we find out she did it to herself. I can't make this shit up. But the whole time, the whole world came. There was more preponderance to bash Tory Lanez than I see preponderance to bash any white senator, any white rapist. They didn't put that same emphasis into Harvey Weinstein. Why? Because these motherfuckers scared. I keep telling you, on both sides, they scared. And anybody that's over 30, 35 knows exactly what I'm talking about. You helped condition your children to the point where now they don't even want to date their own. They want to escape what you are. That's why you see the preponderance for a black woman. They use that shit, that bullshit. Oh, I'm educated. Most of these chicks got some of the most simple ass degrees you ever think of. Most of them are not high-end degrees. There are some sisters that got some high-end degrees, and they're usually at Harvard, right up the street at Yale, or whatever. The majority of the degrees that are given out to women are not for high-end positions. They're for very simplistic positions that allow you to go for an associate's. Associate's takes 2 years, or a bachelor, which will kick you anywhere from 3.5 to 4, depending on what school you go to and the acceleration points they have. And if they allow you to go during certain, you know what I mean, times of the year, the older students normally wouldn't be in the flips to be there. Well, education is nothing but a doctrine to say that you've been trained enough under white standards that you are now allowed to go out in the world. We give you the pat on the back. You go out there and get them, Tiger. Only the smart ones go and start their own businesses now, especially electronically after this pandemic. I started my shit early on, get my LLC for my shipping container thing and all that shit, whatever. But I'll tell you guys this, right? A lot of women out here got hit during the pandemic, and I mentioned this yesterday. And out of the totality of 38% of small businesses in the United States now being closed forever, women were the most hit in unemployment during the pandemic. Okay, so there's a lot of unemployed women out here, and I matched it up to, well, maybe that's why they have a preference of dating white right now, because they look at it as poverty. Who can save me anymore? Well, the man, no matter. Well, it's tears in this shit. It's definitely is. I ain't paying attention to nothing some poor white trash tell me, especially some uneducated poor white trash. I'm not paying attention to any white man that make under $200,000, $300,000, because I got friends that do what the fuck they want to do all day and make that much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit there and kiss ass or some motherfucker that's a head security guard or some shit like that. But you have a lot of black folks and Latin folks that will. And that's the scary part. It's a servitude mentality. And a lot of our women are adapted to that servitude mentality to the point that they will dish your black ass to obtain more. That, my friend, doesn't warrant protection. I can read people pretty good for being in New York City, and I know who's a good person, who's not a good person, very quickly. I can tell people's intentions, usually very quickly. Sometimes I'll give people the benefit of the doubt, and I'll be like, all right, let me see if you do something the second time, and you just be an asshole, you know? Levels of shit. I looked at it, and I examined it, and I looked back at about 5 years ago, and it really was with the ascension of Cardi. And the reason I say that Cardi B and Nicki kind of combined, but more so Cardi. And the reason I say that is, you have to realize when Cardi first became popular, and the ages that these girls were when Cardi became popular. See, these girls, most of them were transcending from being very young teenagers to now being full adult women. And when I look back at it, the same thing happened in transition with Gangsta Bitch, all the way back with Apache. A lot of y'all won't remember who Apache is. I'm barely old enough to remember who Apache is too, but R.I.P. Apache from the Bronx. You know what? He passed away, but he had a song called Gangsta Bitch. I need a gangsta bitch, a gangsta bitch. I need a gangsta bitch, a gangsta bitch. I need a gangsta woman, with a gangsta bitch, with a gangsta bitch. And that's how that shit went. When that song dropped, every chick out there changed their mentality in my opinion. These girls went from heavy R&B listeners to all of a sudden listening to rap very heavy. And a lot of the rap songs were derogatory, I ain't gonna lie, but a lot of them were made by women, topped what the men were saying. You understand? And it created a mentality with these girls. And now that I look back at it, it didn't empower these girls. What it did was, most of them anyway, what it did was it actually pushed them back mentally. Because now they thought that they were nothing more to offer than objects of sexuality, which previously they had been, well, come on, guys, on the plantation. See, Master would creep in there anytime he wanted to get some nookie. It's real. Master would creep in there anytime to get him some. You see this afflicted at 12 years a slave. And as we watched that movie, and Kizzy, I believe that was the name of the movie, and she got raped probably like 3 times in that movie and beaten twice. She said, I smell like hell. And the only reason I went across that field to go visit her, he didn't want her. across the field with Alfie Woodward's character. Alfie Woodward's character was married to a white man, and that white man had emancipated her, let her walk on through the house as the way she felt. She had ownership over slaves, and that's what I'll be trying to tell y'all before too. And I'll get into that right after this. A lot of these women that you have now are products in our culture, of rap culture, old rap culture. From Patchy and Gangsta Bitch up into MC Light. I want a roughneck. I don't need a roughneck. You need a roughneck. Oh, I need a roughneck. I'm taking you on a journey. Fast forward, here comes Kim and Fox. Yeah, bubbling, baby. Slow down for many kids. Shit was just crazy. The shit that Foxy was saying, which really was written by Jay mostly. But it was crazy. The message that these girls sent out to the populace later on became mentality. It's a bet. You hear these songs every day. Your mama's playing them, your auntie's playing them. You go to a cookout, they playing them. So from the ages of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, as a little young girl, that's all you hear, how to pop that for Jay. You know? And there were people before them, the people I even mentioned. I mean, after them, people I mentioned, Luke, you know what I'm saying? Luke's 2 Cloud crew. Hey, we want some hey, hey, we want some hey. That motherfucker turned around and got married to a lawyer. A black female lawyer to handle his business. Even, shout out to Uncle Luke. I tell y'all all the time about sonically the sounds of music and how they evolve and how they change even decades. If you look all through the decades of this country, every period from the 20s to the 30s to the 40s to the 50s to the 60s to the 70s to the 80s to the 90s, 2000s, all had different music that attributed and was part of the sound of what was going on. And it was an instrument that basically led in the next decade or the next year or that summer or this winter or whatever, what many of y'all will refer to as an anthem. You know what I mean? The music did that. And still to this day, the music controls social settings. And as the music gets more and more violent, particularly with trap rap, I gotta say it, and particularly with pop. Because a lot of people don't want to point out what Billie Eilish was doing before she just went good girl. I got a boyfriend now. Oh, butch looking ass. I ain't say that. She kind of look like a butch. You know what I'm saying? Billie Eilish in her videos, in all stakes and purposes, you know, there's a thing in the Bible that says, God says you should not depict or interpret the angels or the demons in either or realm. It is a sin to do so. Let me look this up. And I forgot exactly what passage it is. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't sit there and read the Bible like that every day like I used to, you know, when I was growing up. But yeah, we were made to read the Bible. That's why when somebody preached the Bible to me, I'll be like, motherfucker, I was Monday, Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday choir rehearsal, Friday night choir rehearsal, which is the longest motherfucking one, because that shit lasted for 3-4 hours sometimes. And if they wanted to have a conversation after, that's an extra hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? We running through the church and shit. Grandma, we want to go. I won't be at this motherfucker no more. You know where you at? You in church? Come here. Grandma be this shit, mama. You know? Well, but she hit us because we said we didn't want to be at the motherfucking church no more. Been in this motherfucker since 2:30. It's 9:45. Oh shit! Shout out to Arizona, y'all. So I'm just disappointed because those times transcended when music was transcended and setting off an echo. You know, I remember, and I can still say this: the women of not even 20 years ago were totally different. A woman of 20 years ago, if you saw her in a fix and somebody, whatever nationality was bothering her, or even your own, you would go handle that shit. But motherfuckers are so timid. Like, well, I don't want to do it. You know, I don't want to go to jail. And I'm scared of the police. Y'all done seen me talk down police several times. And I don't have to be nasty. I don't have to curse at them. I don't have to even raise my voice. I just tell the story the way it is, and I'm like, well, here, officer, here's the shit on camera. You can see who's the aggressor. Then when I got the white dude at the mall, we was on his ass and beat his ass in front of the police, and they asked me if I wanted to motherfucking press charge. I said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm a snitch on that day. Because you know why? That motherfucker would have done it to me. That was his whole intent. He was a racist white dude, and ironically enough, the whole situation started because he wouldn't put his mask on. Just like I told you about the other white gentleman who got on 125th around a whole bunch of black and Latino people that had their masks on and felt that he was so privileged and so bold that he didn't have to wear his mask. So I walked up to him because all the pussy-ass tough guys that want to sit around and stare at other black dudes. See, these motherfuckers, they're products of the women. You understand what I'm saying? The mean, nasty women that are 30, 40% that I'm talking about, a lot of them. And they had multiple kids. You understand? Most of them when they were 12, 13, 14 years old. So the products of them, you understand what I'm saying, almost think like feminine women. And so, or angry women, excuse me. So what they do is, this is where you get the rebuttal when you say, oh, these niggas is filming the situation. You know, that girl was getting beaten in Texas in the parking lot. And these dudes sat there and filmed, and it was two of them. It was two of them. It was two of them. And they sat there and filmed it. They ain't gonna help the girl or nothing like that because they were scared. They were scared. That's why people be like, yo, don't you worry about people now. I don't give a fuck who like me. You know what? I done had millions of people like me. You know what I'm saying? I worked in the music business for 17 years and didn't give a fuck who likes me. So you think I give a fuck if some random motherfucker don't like me? Then fuck. I'll show y'all by example. Oh, you don't like me? All right, clip. You know what I'm saying? I'll put your ass up. Because I put it like, if you that bold to write that shit in the comment section, then you meant that you wanted everybody to see it, right? So how about I just upload the shit? Now everybody can see it. That's what you wanted, right? These are women doing this shit. And that's why I went in on 2 women yesterday. So ladies, you want to be protected? This is what you got to do. See, I'm here to give solutions. I ain't here to talk about the problems and all that shit. You niggas be talking about problems. Don't tell nobody shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do that. Ladies, first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to gain back your femininity. And gaining back your femininity means doing this. It means losing every adaptation that you have had so far as far as acquisitioning yourself and almost fully assimilated mentally into servitude under whites and any other class, either whether it be lower or higher class than you from whatever country or whatever background, religion outside of your own. Now that's a mental problem. If you have one type of attitude you have with us, but you have another type of attitude with them, which is very docile, very nice. You know, you put some of this 30 or 40% I speak of, they put their full feminine on. They put their full feminine on when it comes to a white person. How are you doing, sir? Of course, certainly. Next in line. All right, nigga, what you want? I don't care if you did pay $9.75 here, whatever. How can I help you? Hold on one second. Shaniqua, let me call you back. You know, shit like that. Who's been to a restaurant and been waited on by one of these 30 or 40% of women I'm talking about, and they've been not only rude to you, but rude to all your party, rude to within that party, maybe your family members or anybody else. See, this is not a bad session. This is telling you simple psychology. If you keep disrespecting someone that's already being disrespected in society already, you got somewhat of a path because you got a vajay and some tets. You always forget that, don't you? That's why you can never be me. You got breasts and a vajay. But that is your past. And instead of using that past to your best advantage like we once used to do on plantations all across the Caribbean, United States, and in Europe, that's gonna rape you anyway. So just go up in there, act like you like them and you love them or something, and get the keys so we can all get out of here. You ain't gonna never get raped again. the women have lost their condition of working with the men and instead working with anybody else besides their own men. The men have unilaterally almost done the same. And most of their focus is on how to get some vajay, the utensils I need to get some vajay, at a 30-40% ratio. And how can I maintain the vajay, and how can I get this money to maintain the vajay that really, in most cases, ain't worth nothing and is using it? Because a lot of women nowadays look at men as mechanisms for money. It's always been like that. Kings and queens, real kings and queens, married over that same shit. They were married in families. They would ancestrally marry, and also they would be very selective of who they married into. And you better have the same amount of money or more. Now, this was under title, not under this fantasy shit where someone is self-proclaimed to call themselves king and queen. No, these are under kings and queens of whatever culture, African included. See, we have to get into separating. See, this happened before. And I remember my mother telling me about this, and I remember my auntie Melanie Stovall talking about this. And she said, and I remember this, the black struggle is going to have to change again. It's going to have to be defined differently. Okay, she came out of the 70s and 60s with that shit. I want you to keep that in mind. She was a college student. So I can imagine her experiences in those periods of time. And now talking about it fresh face on what was then public access TV, down in Virginia. And the funny thing is, I think it's another time for that again. I think personally, we need to regroup, and I think we need to have some real conversations. And what I need mostly out of the women is, instead of trying to be all fussy and make the whole shit about you, since you feel you're in the best position, many of you think you're better than black men, even though a lot of black men put you in the positions that you're in. Hi, Karuchi. That's always funny to me. I'm sorry. Amber Rose, a couple of them. You got put in a place by a black man, but now you're better than black men. That's ironic as shit. I don't get it. So let's just forget about Chris Brown. Let's just forget about, Kanye West, who's worth billions now. Oh, that's right. He's worth more than you, Amber, but you're better than him. I got you. Amber, you got babies by 2 guys now, right? And you had a baby by a rapper, Wiz Khalifa. For money, not love. As many of these girls do, they have babies for money, not love. Having a baby by a rapper or a rich celebrity, as many as y'all know, because we talk about it here, online, all the time. Who's screwing who, and all our voyeuristic tames that we have. Who's screwing who's sleeping with who, what they doing, where they live at. Who's that? That's the way we live culture. And that gossiping culture has now led to disdain, and now we're at each other's neck based on something that was given to you. Do you understand what I'm talking about? You were given gossip. Y'all motherfuckers don't even realize you were given gossip to use because that's how they looked at you as a slave. You're no better to do anything other than that. Gossip. Now, I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna understand what I'm saying, but I'm gonna go into it. Can y'all please hit them like buttons if y'all would? I'll go into it. What happens is, a lot of the slave mentality resurrection, as I like to call it, slave mentality resurrection, because it was gone for a minute. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It was gone for a minute. But capitalism and greed always make it come back. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the ones that instituted and involved in it the most of this newfound millennium slave servitude mentality are really most of the immigrants coming here right now. They have replaced what was traditionally at one time the servitude of the black, because blacks have moved on monetarily. You understand what I'm saying? If you need an example of that, I tell you to refer to Forbes and many other magazines and tell me how many faces you see on there of your people newly here in the United States and how many verses that you see of blacks. I'll even go as further as this. Most of the world's billionaires come from Africa, not Europe, Africa. Look that up. So we don't do any exaggeration here, and anybody denies it is someone that clearly just doesn't understand money or culture or culture. You're a blue-collar wannabe, if you ask me, that's uneducated. That's what you have to call some people. Trust me when I tell you that. It'll come on handy one day. You're a blue-collar commoner. And you're allowing commoners to dictate how you interact with each other. They laugh at you when they see you interacting like that. They laugh at Lizzo. You understand what I'm saying? Lizzo is a girl that sat around and she became used to, this is why I talk about this low self-esteem shit. Lizzo is a girl that became used to people calling her fat. But you should have never did, baby girl. You should have never did that. Don't get used to nobody calling you fat. And that fucking whole body shaming, body positivity bullshit is a fucking segue for the grave. There's no way any nutritionist will tell you at 325 pounds and you're 5'2" that you're fucking healthy and you're thick. The same shit you're embracing has been set up and instituted to you to take care of you finally in the end run. To get rid of you and dwindle down your population. See, they've done this before. Y'all forgot. Y'all forgot about the colonists? I haven't. Yo soy la cubano en habanero, ahí se, tú sabes, yo sabe claro. Because the Spaniards did it to the fucking the Spanish conquistadors did it to the Peruvians, and they did it to many of the other rest of the Spanish islands, okay? They got rid of the people, interbreeded with them, and now they became a whole totally new people. And I think that's what's gonna happen, and that's the pathway to African Americans. The best thing you could do, and this strategy has been done before, you can look in different manuscripts in Europe, and you'll see its origin. The best you can do is get the men and the women to not like each other. Because once you do that, and this has been done with prior culture. See, let me tell y'all something. Y'all gonna freak out when I tell y'all this. I know you are, but I want you to look this up. Historically, throughout history, there are more involvements with other cultures in slavery prior to Africans and now African Americans in slavery than African Americans, believe it or not. Where African Americans have been in servitude for a little under 400, 500 years, you had the Egyptians, whether it be the Nubians, whether it be the Assyrians, where whoever was at rule on a higher or lower courts of their rulership. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, y'all got to look that up, because there's a whole totally different, there's a higher kingdom and a lower kingdom that existed within the different rules, and different people ruled over Egypt. That's a misconception and it's a lie. And there's manuscripts to prove it. The Nubians had one of the strongest reigns, but they were overtaken. That would be Africans. If y'all don't believe this, then look it up for yourself. But what I'm trying to tell you is, you are being set up right now. If there was ever a plan of depopulation, you are partaking right now, ladies. And the more disdain you get from these men, and the more you see these channels popping up, the more you see these guys talking about, hey, fuck these women and blah, blah, blah. Because some of them outright say that. You know, they just say, fuck all these chicks. I don't give a fuck. I'll pay my $40. Who got $40? A lot of girls are offering for $40. Oh yeah, the price of vaginas went down a lot, ladies. That's why a lot of y'all can't get a husband. Y'all need to take care of the 30-40%. See, the men, we can't do this shit. The disdain has gone so far that the only way we can do it is physically, you know, really. And that's why you're seeing this uptick in violence. Not only black men against black women, but other men against black women. And like we told you before, you understand what I'm saying? Sooner or later, this will happen. Now I'm trying to tell you right now how to cooktail it and quit it from prosperity. And you know, a lot of people are coming in and coming off, coming in, coming off, coming in. I get it. You know, this ain't about gossip. I want you to write gossip on your coffin, because that's where you're headed to. It's gossip. Gossiping. Gossiping was the best effective thing they could put, and it used it before Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch doctrine, not the Willie Lynch letter, the Willie Lynch doctrine, which is a set of different documents that you could use to manipulate slaves. So it's being used for you right now. It's just an appetizer. It's just a social interaction, a lack of social interaction. The web itself and the interaction and how people interact with it is also aided to this. You can find a woman that gets online now and she'll write the most obnoxious things. Check out Father's Day sometimes. That's quite interesting to see those posts. I'm the father. Proud of it. I got 7 kids. There ain't none of the daddies here. I'm proud of it. I'm going to find me a wealthy man. Let me go over here and talk to Kevin Sanders real quick. Let him judge me. Ma'am, you're a 3 at best. You know? The businesses that black women do have. Well, in turn, most of the time I've seen, and I've also been dissing, I'll tell you a story about that in a minute too. But for the most part, I don't see them hiring men of color. I see them hiring other women or white people. I'll say it again. I see women with their own businesses hiring other women or white people, not men. Maybe they'll protect you. Maybe they'll protect you. See, when you keep choosing to pick everybody besides your own first, you made the choice at that moment that that's your protection. 30 or 40% of the gender population of black women, 30 or 40% of the population and gender of black men, 30 or 40% holds forth for both segments of Latinos too, because you're just involved. You like to pretend a lot. Latinos like to pretend a lot back. They're very good actresses. Most grow up watching novelas all the time, so they want to live the novela. Novela is like a soap opera. Mi vida representado. Este domingo. Latinos know what I'm talking about. It's Sábado Sensacional. You grew up in New York, you know what I'm talking about. Extravaganza. Super Sábado. We all grew up hearing and listening to things like that all our fucking life up there, you know. The women in the Northeast, and I've seen in Atlanta, are very passive aggressive. Very nasty at times. If you've never been dissed by a woman in Atlanta, it goes something like this. Boy, if you don't get your pussy ass up on out of here with your po ass, boy, you don't know what you're talking about. Hey, look here, boy, you don't see these diamonds on my neck right here, boy? Can you afford this, boy? I ain't think so, boy. Boy, get on hell out of my face. You know what I'm saying, boy? Later on that night, damn, shorty, ain't nobody take you home with her. Boy, just put me in the car and take me home. Hello, Daquan? Yeah, I'm pregnant. You know, I think I'm joking. This is how this shit happens. You can log in, log out, whatever, listen to what I have to say. Don't listen to what I have to say. I want to make this very short. But what I will tell you is this. Ladies, if you don't change your fucking ways, you're going to be on your fucking own. You talk about going to get your gun. You don't talk about going to do this, going to do that, whatever. But when you start shooting, what do you think the guys are going to do? They're going to start shooting back, and they've already been shooting longer than you with your NBA. You've been spending the past couple years in school, not on the streets. You know what I'm saying? You know every trick on the streets. And I don't care if you grew up in a hood Hamlet. You're not a guy. So now it's decision time. Decision time, ladies. Melanie MADDOX was killed because whoever killed her thought there wouldn't be no repercussions, whether they're white, black, whatever, indifferent. With that said, who's going to be next? The woman in Texas a couple months ago. Sandra Bland, years ago, a few short years ago. All these women were attacked because nobody came to their defense. Which leads me to this, and I'll leave out with this. When you pump pussy ass guys out there that have been raised by nothing but, you know, basically thoughts and scragglers and scallywags and the least desired of women, the poorest of women, the nastiest of women, you do not have to be like her. You don't have to be like her. You do not have to be like your raunchy, nasty ass, half-witted ass mothers. You don't have to be like your drug dealing, repeated going to prison ass daddy to stop by every now and then either. You don't have to be like your cousins that went out and got arrested 18 times and spent probably well over $120,000 and only made probably equivalent to altogether 40,000. You don't have to do it. What you could do is both of y'all, both genders. It's your uncle talking to you. Yeah. Is try to speak to one another without grilling each other. That's the first thought. As you intervene and interact with each other in social spaces, people are watching you. They're watching how you interact, and they're making the conclusion. And once they make the conclusion, what they're doing is they're rolling with that conclusion as it's set in stone. It's set in stone. And so that's why I walk up sometimes and I start talking to young dudes or young ladies or whatever, and I say to them, hey, what y'all doing? I talk to them just like people talk to me when I was younger. And some of them are not used to it. They don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, what are you talking about? You know, and that's normal with youth. That's normal. What's not normal is when they don't have a respect level for you because you're a man. Guys, the biggest thing that you lost, all this chasing these used cars. If you don't see this 2008 BMW I got, niggas, get the fuck out of here. 2008. My man had the shit in 2008. Got the 2021 now. You know. Pull right up into the projects with that $50,000 used car. Where you going? 8th floor, man, you know. Damn, son, you ain't put that on the house. These women are out here complaining about men where at the perplexity of the fucking percentage rates employed by the CDC, most of these boys have been, by the past 2 generations, raised mostly by women, basically, a lot of times on their own terms. So you're realistically complaining about the lack of protection from sons who were raised solely by other women that look like you. Why is that? Because a lot of times these women have implemented in their own kids, I don't even have respect for other black women. And I've seen that online several times. Where black women are bashing other black women, Tasha K, Toxic Diamond, and a whole list of other ones. They spend predominantly the most of their time attacking black women and men. I didn't see a report about Tucker Carlson. I didn't see a report about anybody else that we feel has, they don't do those stories. Not even Charlemagne does that story. You can't do it. Tell me I'm wrong, Charlemagne, if you see this. You can't do it, nigga. I said it. You can't do it. And you know you can't do it. You could say what's already prepared, what's been approved. You can't freestyle talking about Tucker Carlson or anybody else in the GOP. You know you couldn't. You don't even have the precise professionalism. You can key all you fucking want to. I can tell by the way you talk. You be struggling, nigga. Charlemagne, we should call you Google Facts, nigga. That's what you are, Google Facts. You're another narrator. You and Angela Yee. A lot less in DJ Envy. It's probably because Envy got more than all y'all. By himself. Shout out to Envy. We interviewed him. Let me tell you something, man. Power Moves Makers here on YouTube. Make sure you check it out. Just enter in DJ Envy. You hear a lot on there about real estate. He sat in and talked to us about real estate. I was live in the attendance, and I was there. So, you know. Let me tell you something about, more importantly, if anybody, let me tell you something about where you're headed, guys. You're headed to an area where if you don't pick up the slack right now and start believing in yourself, that you guys got to start loving each other and you got to start getting back to the way things were. The first place the fucking starts is with the music. The music is a direction of the fucking times. And the music y'all have right now is all about hate. And that's why you're seeing hateful shit happen. You're seeing hateful shit happen. I have never thought in my life I would see rap music be where it is right now. And I'm still young as fuck. You know, I'm definitely not an innovator of this shit. I just coattailed and help market shit that got us here. And I always take responsibility for that. I always do. I marketed records at Bad Boy Entertainment for 17 years. Some of those materials in some of those records were downright despicable and did aid to right now. And so did other people that engaged and worked at other record labels at the time. Yes, we did. And as more and more time progresses, you're going to hear more and more people utter the words that I just uttered that are also in the music industry. Whether it be those from Rockefeller Records, those like myself from Bad Boy, and all the different camps. You know what I mean? We all know each other. Who is this? I love Tupac rap when he first came out. Then the industry forced them to change up his rap to gangster rap. We need to be changed. We need to be changed as a culture. You see, and this is the thing. It's the only thing I got to say, Patrice, on that. I don't like that we shit, because it's not we. It's a 30-40% margin that's responsible for this shit. The same thing in white culture. Everybody white's not going into a grocery store shooting up everybody. Everybody white, I know white dudes. Every white dude is not going to the Madeline Bay Hotel and shooting 500 country music listeners or concert goers. That's not happening. But both sides have their problems, because we had 25 shot down in Miami, and I know the spot. 25 people shot in one city by 2-3 individuals in a car who waited 20 to 40 minutes to shoot at these kids. That is called a common disrespect for your own. And these were done by kids. These guys wasn't fucking, the guy that was performing wasn't up at 18, 19, if he's that much. You know what I'm saying? He looked like a kid. He looked like a high school kid. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like what they're doing with that artist, Spot Him, Got Him. I don't like how they got him promoted. If that was my artist, I would never have him promoted like that. That young boy sitting around dancing with guns and shit. And they think that's all right. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know who he was raised by. I want to comment on that. You know what I'm saying? Because little nigga, I shoot back. You know what I mean? But I like him. I like his music. But I think that they need to really, really, really market him differently. Because what you're going to have is you're going to have other little boys that want to emulate that same thing that are younger than him that he's influencing. And you have girls definitely being influenced by City Girls, Cardi, and a whole list of other girls. Every last one of these girls try to outdo each other. You know, I put up a clip and I did a whole show about how I saw the potential for Megan Thee Stallion versus on where she was. See, a lot of people talk about Remy Martin, right? And I ain't never been around Remy Martin. She's one of the few artists I have not been around. Everybody talk about Remy Martin, or Remy Mars, y'all know her. And Remy, real talk, like, Remy was like one of the nicest female MCs out there. I mean, like, only person that you know who's ill and y'all only listen to her on a podcast? Rod Digger. You know what I'm saying? Check out some of Rod Digger's work. And you'll see the distinct differences. And I think the reason a lot of y'all don't see that, because the only example y'all got even close to Rod Digger or somebody like her now is maybe Rhapsody. So this is influencing the girls. You see what I'm saying? The young girls. And these girls, they're turning out to be nothing more than baby's moms, the girlfriend or baby moms of a fucking superstar or something like that. They don't really have too much worth, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I started a little business, now I'm selling makeup and da-da-da. Okay, them little fans forget who you are, but people that's really in charge don't forget who the fuck you really are. Sweetie, you a stripper. Not Sweetie the artist, but I'm talking about Sweetie in general. Like, Sweetie, you a stripper. Sweetie, you was a con artist. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a 2-time felon. That don't ever escape me. You know what I'm saying? So I know it don't escape for anybody else. So only thing I'm saying here, and I'm gonna end this right now, is ladies, if you want protection, plain simply, I'm saying it's gotta be warranted by respect. And if you're not giving any respect to these guys, and I'm only talking about the guys that it's warranted to, and you have to pay attention to what you like and don't like. And some of the shit that you're embracing, oh, I want me a bad boy, okay, that's all cool until that second and third baby coming. You're sitting at home all night. Club's over. Club's over. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see a lot of these girls leaving the kids at home with no. There was a story about a girl that went to go strip, and she left her 3-month-old baby in the car while she went to go do a strip set because she needed that money. This is a woman that also said they had numerous videos of her that they put up. I said, I don't need no motherfucking man. Evidently, you do need a man, sweetheart. This is what I mean by that voluntary parentage or single parenting. You know what I mean? And it exists in all fucking races, religions, and everything else. If you need an example, I danced on MTV for 2 years. All right? And I can tell you straight up and down, MTV was responsible, and Viacom as a company itself was responsible for 16 and pregnant. What kind of fucking example did you think that gave young girls? Oh, well, you saw pregnancy rates amongst teens go fuck up during the whole time of the airing of those shows. And later on, as you see subsequently, finally from rallying the parents and shit like that, they finally ended that show. Now you can see it in syndication, of course. As far as an entity, it doesn't exist really that much anymore. Huh? Now, boy, man, we get some candy. My freaking throat is so dry right now. Pause. I'm thinking nothing funny. Actually, I think I got a little cake in here or something like that. Guys, also, if you want to donate, it's $STRINGERBELLAB. Shout out to my girl Annette today. Yo, I went back to Target. So that takes care of that shit for about 2 weeks. Appreciate you Annette on the donation and all that, for real. You know what I'm saying? But all you guys who want to donate, the PayPal link, I fixed that, so that's down below. There's also Cash App, $STRINGERBELLAB. I appreciate that. And it should be more, and I'm gonna have to keep it real because it's disrespectful to the other people that do donate. TMS Global, thank you. M1 Music, thank you. And like I tell you guys, if you send me an email, my email is formerbe@yahoo.com. And Star Pepper, you see this? I just saw about an hour ago that you actually wrote a comment, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna check your email. Don't get mad at me. But back to the premise here. A lot of these girls now have been indoctrinated into this I don't need nobody but me type shit. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to slowly see, so that's a trick right there, and I keep telling y'all. We all have all these different ideologies or theories about depopulation or whatever, and some people are pointing towards the pandemic. There was only 600,000 people lost. It's not even close to 1 million. You know what I'm saying? Here in the United States, that ain't no depopulation. And if anything, it only stopped sex for a couple of months. You heard me. There was only 600,000 people that lost their lives in America. You need an example. There's 12 million motherfuckers walking in New York City. You know what I mean? They ain't even a borough in New York. No offense, and not disrespecting it, but y'all get what I'm saying in comparison. The real depopulation trick is two things. The over influence, in my personal belief, of LGBT beliefs and how they're forced on school children that I don't agree with. I don't agree with this because of pure simple fact, it doesn't offer the child a chance, in my opinion, okay? And I know that's a scarred opinion by some people and they won't agree with me or whatever, but I don't like the fact that transsexuals reading to third graders and second graders. I don't want my child exposed to that. You know what I'm saying? If my child is 15 or 16 or 17 or 18 and they could rationalize, then that's fine. If my kid is seeing a transsexual read in second or third grade, what the fuck is my kid gonna think? And then like the way they look, it's warped. It's like, listen, I lived in New York, so I've seen trannies before. You go right over fucking Fordham, there's a whole bunch of them over there. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about that. To each his own. I'm not talking about that, and I'm not here to bash. I have some friends at LBGT. What I'm talking about is the way that these she-males or whatever they want to call them look when they come to read to the kids. Y'all have to, I'll throw in a clip at the end of the broadcast so y'all can get an example. They're dressed in this over-decadent, fucking like, it looks more like they're going to a ball at the devil's house. You know what I'm saying? Like, devil horns, fish scales, this over-elaborate shit that is not necessary for going in. Now, if you dressed up as a woman and you look like a woman, because some of them motherfuckers, they look like women. I ain't gonna lie. You know. You will know. But some of them look like women. There's a difference between those and what's reading to them kids is really this flamboyant drag queens. All right? There's no excuse from that. This is going all the way up from Canada to Europe to the United States. I don't agree with it. I don't want my kid learning that shit. You know what I'm saying? Not that early. I want my kid to have a choice. I want to have grandkids one day. And whatever you choose to do with your kid, that's your business. I have no, unless it interferes with my business, because listen, I've said this before on here and I'll say it again and I mean it, and I'm at an age where I really don't give a fuck what you think. I'll get your fucking 14, 13 to 15-year-old the fuck up out of here. I don't give a fuck what color he is. Alright? And I'll tell you why. Y'all ain't been paying attention. These 13 and 14-year-old little motherfuckers ain't riding bikes. They're riding bikes and shooting off the bikes. I saw a video just yesterday. I think I'm going to clip it in just a commentary. I saw a video just yesterday in the Bronx, speaking of the Bronx. These two kids robbed this 17-year-old kid in the store of his sneakers, and ain't nobody stopped him. And the kid that was getting robbed ended up getting stabbed because he was trying to fight back. Do not fight back with these motherfuckers. Let them have the fucking sneakers. Call your peoples. Tell them what they look like. You can live through it later. Sit back in the car and watch them get the shit beat out of them. That's how we used to do. Y'all don't know. I had a friend of mine. He went online one night. I had to shut him the fuck up. I'll clip it though. He's talking about how I used to be when I used to be involved and all that shit. I had a very small stint in the street. I went to jail for a while, almost 2 years. I came out, and within 4 or 5 months, I was with Bad Boy Entertainment. So it was like God wanted that to happen, you know? And I've helped many. Shout out to my man that got me there wrong. I've helped many people along the way. My man Retro C from Brooklyn. She's real. She's been on Sway in the Morning several times. I brought them both up to Daddy's House recording studio. And anybody that knows Daddy's House knows you ain't getting up in there unless you got a spot, or and through the spot you gotta be like, usually your manager gets you the spot in Daddy's House, which is Puff Studio or Quad or Electric Lady, the other places I've recorded at. And I used to bring people off the street. I took some people off the street with me to Electric Lady. I'm just like that. I think I'm like the last artist that's really like that. Because I know how I felt when I used to be out there. Nobody would fuck with me. Hey, yo, man, listen to these bars real quick. Nobody wanted to listen to my bars. And it wasn't until I got with Bad Boy that people actually wanted to listen to me. But I never saw the people that were the most vicious was the females. They was real vicious to me. You ain't gonna be shit. Why? Because you ain't shit? Hello, Dab. Hey, Star Pepper, I was just talking about you too. Hey, TMH Global, I was just talking about you too. Damn. But yes. That's people that I like right there. That come through, support. Y'all hit those like buttons as y'all coming in too. I like people like that. I just want to continue the story and I'll finish it out. I'll get your 13, 14, and 15-year-old the fuck up on out of here. Because these little motherfuckers are shooting people, killing people. They're walking into grocery stores. They're doing all kinds of shit because they bothered. They bothered, you know? So that's one of the things that influences. The second thing that influences is the music. Whether it be pop, rock, or whatever the fuck. I just finished talking about Billie Eilish a few minutes ago. You know, everybody wants to play like she's so innocent now. Or I can go back to what Miley Cyrus did and ran that scam with her and her daddy, including her daddy attaching himself to one of the biggest singles that was out with. What was that kid's name? I want to go downtown to the old town road. Billy Cyrus attached himself to that shit. Billy Cyrus ain't had a motherfucking hit since Don't Take My Heart, My Ache That Breaking Heart. See, I'm old enough to remember that shit. That was the last hit Miley Cyrus' daddy had. In fact, Miley Cyrus is a bigger success than her daddy ever was. You can put a carrot on that shit. Funny Claymore. And she did it how? By mimicking rappers. Associating herself with rappers. People that were way bigger than her. Molly wasn't shit until she started linking with them. This is Lee Cross. His artists until the people call the white plateau. White artists do the same thing. I'm saying this with Justin Timberlake and many other artists. You don't go from singing, bye bye, baby, bye bye, to singing some shit like, And if your love was all I had in this life, and doing duets and shit with fucking Beyonce, get the fuck out of here. Justin Timberlake been doing that shit for a long time. He jumped with Timberland. Timberland got him popping. Then he jumped to I think he was working with Rockwallow for a minute on like 2 or 3 songs. I think Suit and Tie was produced by Rockwallow. But yeah, man, it's just it's amazing how much the music has an influence on people nowadays. You know, I hear y'all. Shout out to y'all too. I appreciate y'all. Let me tell you something, man. The music and what I just mentioned with the LBGT's influence in that aspect is now conditioning children not to love each other gender-wise. Doesn't matter what gender, it doesn't matter what race they are, but gender-wise. Each gender is, each culture has its genders that are specifically supposed to be there to cater and procreate and make the next race or next generation of motherfuckers. And what you're seeing is you're seeing black and specifically white culture in this country dwindle, and their babies dwindle along with it, you know? So, guys, I'm going to go more into this. I just want to talk about Melanie MADDOX. I want to talk about why you see such less protection from men or men of any culture being ready to intervene, because they look at you as you're less. So the same way you're trying to put on the profession to black men and men of color in general that you're better than them, it sometimes comes off as a reflection of yourself and how you're treated. And most people that are mistreated, this is how they act. The same thing I see in the Bengali and Indian people. They're very racist because they have racism that exists in their country within their own paradigm. You know, I mentioned this yesterday. You have dark-skinned Punjabis or Indians or Bengalis that don't deal with lighter-skinned ones. They use lightning cream. It's a shame to be this tone of color or whatever. And it's kind of confusing to them when you come around them and you have this tone of color and you're proud. You're normal, you feel free, you feel alive or whatever, as you should as an American. You know, I mentioned many times, it was black people that built the White House. You know, and there's a commemorative plaque there to remind you every time you visit the White House. So, you know, it was blacks that built the White House, you know. It was blacks that built this country off of that. Now, as much as you want to disseminate that or whatever, history shows otherwise, so I could give a fuck less what you have to say with your newfound ass in our country, if that's the particular approach you take. If you want 2 generations back, you have no history in this country. All my family was in the military. 2, 3 generations. You know, so you can't tell me nothing about it. And if you're talking about historically, every war from the Civil War on up, you know, the Confederates had black soldiers. There's actually, down south, there's a thing called the League of Black Confederate Soldiers. And every year they meet. What's this guy's name? He's a not Jesse Peterson, the other guy, Eldridge something. But he's one of the people that presides over some of the congressions that they have and shit like that. So there's a whole bunch of cool shit alive and well in America. And they're being used as tools basically to keep you motherfuckers apart so you don't procreate. And if you do want to procreate and get horny, well, you gonna find you somebody, some other culture. Just don't make any more nigga male babies. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I might be back with you later on or whatever. Black and Latin people, wake the fuck up. This newfound resurgence in servitude sector is just beyond me, man. I'm not with it. You know, and I say that because I've worked for Black and Latins for 17 years, you know, so it's easy for me to say. But if there was one creation of Puff, there needs to be several others. And if you're creating these own businesses, you're not hiring men, you're not giving men an incentive to protect you. You're not giving men an incentive and the simp motherfuckers. Let me talk about the simp motherfuckers one time. Girls, stop believing these simp motherfuckers and get on there and call, oh my queen, oh my love, oh my goddess, and all that. That motherfucker got an agenda, all right? That's why I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all be thinking the real motherfuckers be having an agenda, and really it be those sweet talking, smooth motherfuckers. Oh my queen, I be seeing that shit all the time. I stopped talking to girls online before because I would see some shit on their thing or whatever. They would post something and be like, I get tired of all these guys chasing me. And look at the guys chasing you though. Look at them. It's like it look like you just broke out of jail. You know? But that's amazing because somebody is chasing them. It don't matter what culture it is either. A lot of these girls out here just dastardly, downright out fucking dirtbags. And then some chicks are using their education as a crutch. I went to college too, and a lot of other black dudes and Spanish dudes I know went to college too, and they were my classmates. I can bring them on here if y'all like to. They love to talk. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Anthony Howard out in Texas. Shout out to my man Nate out of motherfucking Alaska. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talked to my college what the fuck you want to call them? Co-students? I don't know, shit. You know what I mean? But I talked to my ex-classmates, and I talked to them, and we all have a different experiences. Like, I'm having a totally different experience than they are, because I was working in the music industry before I went to college. You see what I'm saying? Most people, they go to college and then they try to get into our industry. I was straight working in the office from the jump. So, you know, I had a different experience, and a lot of other people share my experience. I'm starting to find out. But just ending this, ladies, you have your own businesses, not hiring an adequate enough. You can literally change the paradigm as much as you get on and you brag about how much. Some of these girls are making millions of dollars a year from makeup lines and everything else or whatever. So I don't see why you're not hiring more men. You know what I mean? Even if it was just a point of your comfortability, I think that'd be worth at least $2,500 to somebody a month. You know what? I like having James here. Plus, James got a gun. You know what I'm saying? When I'm leaving out of here late at night for my 40, 50,000, that little 2,500 is for James, just in case something happens. You all right, James? James, you ready to go? Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go, Shaniqua. You know, whoever. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want y'all men back at that place. And right now, currently, ladies, you just don't. A lot of these men would, and I've heard them say it on their own lips, would prefer to kill some of y'all. A lot of these men out here would prefer to harm some of y'all. A lot of these men out here are quite fed up with some of y'all. Now, I've been involved in the conversations. I've tried to quell tempers. I've been the person that's pointed out certain things that these people were right about, too. I hold my guilt, you know. I hold my guilt. But more importantly, what we got to stop doing is promoting all this single parent shit. See that single parent shit? And that happens in Latin culture too. Don't let them fool you. You got these Papi Juan Pito niggas. This nigga get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. First thing he's doing is going with the homeboys, about 6 of them. They're going to collect cans and get cans so they can buy beer. I used to see it all the time in Warrington, in the Bronx. These niggas, the Ecuadorian niggas, Peruvian niggas, all them niggas. They couldn't get a job for that day, or they're not bicycle delivering food and shit like that. Them niggas getting pissy fucking drunk. Them niggas used to walk and bump into me, and I'd be like, yo, Pa, I know who the fuck you are, man. Stop fucking around, though, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, so let's not play and pretend that. And let's not play and pretend like Latinos don't make a fucking prison population. There's a whole bunch of fucking pretending going on out here. You know, just like I said with the Bengali people. I made a reference to a motherfucker one day. He tried to get cute with me and act as if he was better. I said, how was your last trip to the airport? How'd that shit go? I wonder what would happen if I called in and say he's got a ball. You want to be funny, motherfucker? I can be funny. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be me than you any fucking day. I ain't getting stopped at the airport. Most I get stopped at the airport for, nigga, you got some weed, something on you, man. Let us know right now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's how that shit goes. Ladies on both sides, Latina and black. I gotta switch up these fucking attitudes because you're losing the support of your men. And that's the last thing you want to do because you become more susceptible at any time. And I hope you see this with Melanie MADDOX. I hope you see this with Sandra Bland. I hope it's planned. I hope you see this with the sister that was down in Texas. I can't remember her name right now. That was attacked in the parking lot some months ago, right before the pandemic. So it was probably years ago now, about a year and a half, 2 years ago now. And the men sat there and filmed her. They'd rather film her than help her. Let that sink in. Guys, Cash App, $STRINGER. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Got some good news as of now. I don't want to break too much, but I'm supposed to be going to an apartment showing tomorrow. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping that I get it. You know what I'm saying? So y'all wish me luck. I hope so. Even though still I'll be moving in there without shit. I always say this all the time. And I hope that you would be inclined to donate. But I want to thank Annette. I want to thank TMH Global. I want to thank many other people. Just last night, I made a video of what I do with my donation money. And I went right to Target, just like I told everybody earlier in the day. And I showed everybody what I had bought. So I use my money for that. I'm gonna need furniture. I'm gonna need. I don't even have a TV. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching shit off my phone. So, if you're not familiar with my story, I am coming out of homelessness, but formerly at Bad Boy Entertainment, and my story is unique. And I was talking about my story before what happened with Black Rob, but it's unique and the same as Black Rob. A lot of people were affected even more so by the pandemic when it happened. So, guys, STRINGERBELL80. And if you'd like to see any of my story thus far up to now, just hit my name, hit videos, and just scroll. And you'll see that I've always been consistent. I've always been honest. And I think more importantly, I'm just advocating for myself because nobody else is going to do it for me. And based off the diatribe that I just gave in this video, you should take some consideration in that and hopefully go back and listen to this a second time if you need to really understand what I'm saying. But we have to change our attitudes and stop monetary shaming people and stop like acting like everybody's better than everybody. And I say this a lot, and it's going to sound kind of rude when I say it, but I grew up better than some white kids grew up. You know, I don't come from a bad family. My uncles and them were engineers and shit like that. And I'm not talking about normal white kids. Everybody be like, how we do that? You around some normal ass white people. You know what I'm saying? You think because of the shade of their skin they somebody. They know even themselves they ain't nobody. They in debt just like your ass is. I didn't grow up around people like that. I grew around I don't know how to say it, but you know, my friend Sterling Turner, his dad was a lawyer. And we used to go spend the night at his house. We used to swim in his pool every fucking summer after summertime. I was like damn near, I don't know, 13, 14 years old before I left and came back up north. And I had other friends. His brother, Pearson Hunter Weichel, and a whole list of other fucking friends. Dan Giala, shout out to him. He's a fucking cop now, you know, but these were all people that I hung out with when I was younger. And so I had a whole different experience, including my own home experience, and they came and spent the night and hung in my house too. Kevin Ferguson, that's another friend of mine. They were just, and at the time his family owned, they had a business, renting DVDs. That was their business at that time. They were renting DVDs or VHS and VCR tapes at that time. They ran a place doing that. They made a significant amount of money, obviously, you know. But I didn't grow up in the ghetto. I didn't grow up in the projects or nothing like that. And I see a lot of these people that did grow up there, because I'm familiar with because I done hung them. A lot of these people that grew up there, they're now pretending like that's not their background, you know, especially the women. You know, they want their Birkin bag, Gucci slides and shit, and just pretend like, and the girls that they're trying to emulate are not even doing that shit. Not to the complexity and the nonsense that revolves around how they do it, you know. So, guys, I might go back live and I might not, but because I had to get up and go look at that place tomorrow, and I hope I fucking get it because I'm so tired of being around that. I really am. I like the guys, but I just hate getting up every fucking morning to see somebody's face with roommates. I like, I have to admit it just bothers you. But then my room is so fucking small. I'm 6'3", and I can barely move around that motherfucker. You know, I need some foot space. Like, my legs are long. Like, for real. If y'all ain't never been up on me, you wouldn't know. But I'm tall as fuck. So I need, you know, space. So hopefully it's something with space or whatever. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow, whatever. Yeah, man, I'm going to need everything. I'm going to need everything. And people that keep asking me the same question, are you working now? And I done worked my whole entire adult life. Do you not hear me say that I had the same consistent job for 17 fucking years? Most of the motherfuckers that's talking to me and saying that shit ain't had a consistent job for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? To be quite honest with you. Or they call themselves educated and don't have any fucking prior collegiate experience. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's be real. Let's be honest. A lot of y'all call me a king. We'll see the king rise again. And I guarantee you, and I need to do it fast. You know what I'm saying? Time is of the essence when it comes to this music shit. Getting back into the music game, or this getting into any field or whatever. Time is of the essence. And that's why I said when I got let go at Bad Boy Entertainment, it's probably one of the best times of my life because I was still young enough to do some things. You know? So when I always press or whatever, the cash apps or the PayPals or whatever, because I owe y'all this addressing, I do it because time is of the essence. You know, in less than 2 months, it'll be winter again. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all hit those donation links. Make sure y'all tune in, share, subscribe if you're new. And I appreciate y'all. My name is Davin Lewis, formerly of Bad Boy Entertainment. Still a Bad Boy Entertainment pretty much. I'm always be. That's another story. I'll talk to y'all later.